Hello, BookTube. I've got an odd kind of book haul for you here. It was home delivered. It was a porch delivery book haul I know it's Friday, and we like to do Friday reads on Friday, and I'm sort of determined that I will find a Friday reads in this book haul, but I don't know what it is. So let me explain. I have a friend who runs a church here in Boston, and he has a sort of an ongoing rotating donation schedule with his parishioners and their friends and their friends. And as a result, he has a steady income, a steady influx of books. He used to run a sort of a big jumble sale for his church, and books were a major part of that. He would put them all out there and price them really cheap. And the parishioners, people who came to that sale, they really loved it. He stopped really doing that because of COVID and hasn't really got around to re-envisioning it or starting it all over again, but the books still keep coming in. So he has told me for years, just come over and take whatever you want. I don't need to worry about a donation to the church. I occasionally help out him with a sermon or some of his parishioners with various little things. It's no big deal. It certainly shouldn't stop him from taking a donation, but he insists. And I usually go over there once in a while to talk about the problems of some of his parishioners if I'm helping somebody, and also to look at the books. We've been talking about books forever and ever. I wasn't going to do that today. It's a little bit on the warm side. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, so I wasn't going to do that today. I emailed to sort of proffer my apologies, and he made a game out of it. He said, well, why don't... He has a strapping young sacristan, a wonderful kid that often... We joke around all the time now that we know each other. He's often the person who will bring the books back for me. He'll carry them, throw them into the car. We have an ongoing joke, all kinds of ongoing jokes. I'm also helping him just a bit. But my friend said, well, you don't have to come over. How about I fill a bag with books and send them over to you? What kind of book person can resist that? I'll send them over with my sacristan. You can chat for a while. I need him back, so you can't keep him all day. And I said, well, that's great, but how would you have any idea what to put in such a bag? I often say, in person and on this channel, I often say that there are only 3 people in the world who can do that, who can look at a gigantic pile of books and have any chance at all of picking even 1 or 2 books that Steve wants, much less a whole bag full of books. I often say that, and I shouldn't, because just a few years ago, one of those 3 people died. So now it's just 2 people. but he was adamant. He said, no, I've seen you. We've talked about it. Every time you bring a bag of books out of here, or a box of books, we talk about it. I've seen you. We've gone to bookstores together. We've gone to the Brattle together. I know what you like. I feel certain that if I fill a bag with books, some of them will be hits instead of all misses. And I said, all right, well, if you want to do that and you're insisting, it's all well above and beyond the call. I'm not doing anything that deserves this kind of treatment. But if you insist, it sounds like you're going to enjoy it. If you want to do that, then feel free. It'd be great to see your young friend anyway, my young friend anyway. So that's what happened. He came over and he dropped off the books and he whipped off his shirt and we talked about St. Thomas Aquinas and we talked about the weather and whatnot, and then he left. And I made a point of not looking in the bag because I'm always thinking about content, as massively influential, sexy YouTube influencers must always be doing. Content is king. I saw the bag and my first impulse was, well, let's see what kind of luck my friend had. It's going to be abysmal, but let's see what kind of luck he had. And then I thought, no, make a video out of it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go through this bag together and see what's in here. It's nice and heavy. And in addition to that, I'm going to make a promise, because my friend was so nice to do this, and my other friend was so nice to bring these over here in the midday heat. I'm going to make a promise here that no matter what's in this bag, something in this bag is going to be part of my Friday reads. Something in this bag I am going to put on my pile to read either this afternoon or tonight. So I could be getting myself into a lot of trouble, because the chances that there are any hits in this bag are pretty slim. But we're going to give it a try. I'm curious to know what my friend picked out anyway. So I'm not even going to look in the bag. I'm just going to reach in and grab. What is this first one? Oh, well, now see, this is, okay. Well, I understand why my friend would pick this one, but I already have it. Okay, well, I understand why you would do this. It's really good. It's a Moment's Liberty. This is the abbreviation of Virginia Woolf's Diaries, which fill many volumes. And it's a terrific abbreviation. It really is. Her diaries make incredibly good reading. They will be the little nudge in your ribs to start a diary of your own if you don't have one already. If you read just a few of them, you will want to make this kind of a document for yourself. These are gently but very efficiently annotated, which you kind of sort of need for something like this, and they're wonderful. They're wonderful reading. But I already have this, so I guess we could turn a gild the lily here. We could turn a sow's ear into a silk purse, and say that maybe these should be giveaways if there are any other doubles in here. So I already have this. Does one of you want this? Maybe. It's really, really good. And a lot of you tell me that you live in used book deserts because you know how to play me like a cheap fiddle. But also a lot of you actually do live in used book deserts. You don't want to shop online because online people, despite instruction videos from me and Sean Standfast, there are still sharks out there. They could easily take you. So as cool as I would think it is to be a giant killer shark myself, I'm not one. So maybe if you're in a position like that, you might want this. I guess I should talk about it like one of the dead-eyed book dealers and notice that there is some discoloration here. Obviously, there was another book in front of this at some point or other. But okay, so that doesn't bode well. We're starting off with a book I already have, and I know my friend knows that I love Virginia Woolf, so that's probably why. Let's see what this. Oh, God help us. Okay, all right. Well, if you know that I love Virginia Woolf, fine. And if you listen at all to the backstairs critical world gossip for the last 50 years, then when it comes to Steve, you also know a certain phrase, which is dead Kennedys, dead Romans, and dogs. This is William Manchester's book, The Death of a President. This is about the death of President Kennedy. It's a classic. It's one of the great Kennedy books. I'm sure that my friend knows about that little rubric, and he knows that I'm up on the subject. So probably it makes sense that he would see this and think Steve, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that he would see this and think that I don't already have it, and I do. Okay, so I guess that could be another giveaway. Although in this case, in the case of the death of a president, it'd be probably a little bit pointless as a giveaway since copies of this are not hard to find. But anyway, we're not off to a good start here. But let's see. All right, feels like this next one is a paperback. Oh, okay, it is. Well, this is an old Bantam classic, mass market paperback, which I love, but it's a mass market paperback of T.H. Lawrence, Sons and Lovers, which this is the classic cover with the self-portrait by Stanley Spencer. I don't like D.H. Lawrence. I've given Lady Chatterley's Lover and Sons and Lovers endless tries. I've had to turn down work at least once for each of those books. I turned down an offer by a friend to say, I've got the whooping cough or I've grown a third arm or whatever. Could you please come in and teach this book? And I've turned down, not because I don't know the book, not because I couldn't keep probably an auditorium of undergraduates involved, but because I don't like it. I don't want to propagate it on another generation. It's not good. But I just recently found a perfect condition I think it was one of these. I think it was a Bantam Classic of Lady Chatterley's Lover. And now I have another one, perfect condition of Sons and Lovers. So maybe the universe is trying, maybe my friend's employer is trying to nudge me to give these things yet another consideration. This is not the same thing, though, because I already know these things. This is not like, what would be a good example? Flaubert, for instance, where 80 million Frenchmen can't be wrong, and there's a chance that I am. That there's probably stuff lurking out there. I have given these things many shots. Maybe I'll do it again out of simple gratitude, but not the top rung of gratitude. The top rung of gratitude with this bag is that something in this bag is going on my reading pile tonight. It's not going to be any one of these three. What is this? Oh, okay, wow. All right, well. Oh, the timing on this is wrong, though. This is a Louis L'Amour novel. This is the first fast draw a considerably more scenic Louis L'Amour novel cover than one is accustomed to. Although, boy, can't you tell that the horse was drawn from a plastic model? The plastic model kit that I'm sure we all had as children, you could tell that the artist drew the horse from that. But maybe he drew the hero from life. So what do we got here? Here lies Sam Barlow, coward, thief, murderer, killed by Cullen Baker. I burned those words into a rough board, dug the deep grave, and left them for Barlow to see. Then I started practicing with my Colt 10 hours a day till it leaped into my hands and found the target like a living thing. I was ready for Barlow now. I had invented the deadliest form of hand-to-hand fighting the world had ever seen, the first fast draw. So it's a Louis L'Amour novel. It's late, though, because June on the Range just ended. I was supposed to read a Louis L'Amour novel for June on the Range and a Zane Grey novel. I never got around to Louis L'Amour. Maybe this is yet another nudge. I guess I always tell myself that in the year between now and next June on the Range, I'll just amass Westerns but not read them. But surely, if anybody gets an exception to that, it's Louis L'Amour. The neat thing about Louis L'Amour novels is that you can read a paragraph description like that on the back and know exactly what's going to happen. The main character here, Cullen Baker, is eventually going to find Sam Barlow, put all of the weight, all of his reliance on his first fast draw. It's going to fail him. He's going to have to fight Barlow the old-fashioned way, man-to-man. That his long-planned revenge will happen, but it won't happen the way that he thinks and the way that he's endlessly practiced. But it doesn't matter, because I'm sure I'll enjoy this. I don't know, though. It doesn't feel right to read a Western. Well, we'll see. This next one's fairly big. What's this? Oh, my. Oh, all right. Okay, good job. I'm willing to eat crow. Good job. This is the great Joe Kubert, one of the greatest comic book artists of all time. He did, decades and decades ago, he did a comic book called Tor, which was the adventures of a human man 1,000,000 years ago on Earth. And it was fairly good. It was fairly scrupulous, scientifically speaking, at least as far as it could be. There weren't any men 1,000,000 years ago on Earth, but you know what Kubert means. But at least it wasn't Robert E. Howard. At least it wasn't Robert E. Howard. But then decades later, Kubert came out with he revisited his character of Tor, who's just an ordinary guy wandering around in prehistoric wilderness, and he revisited that in a series of issues that I saw at the comic shop. I didn't ever actually get them. And those issues, you could flip through them and know, and the critics in the comic industry also said that here you were taking one huge step closer towards Conan's Cimmeria, where you're taking more and more liberties with 1,000,000 years BC. There will be dinosaurs, for instance. There will be Yeti. There will be weird creatures. And DC collected those later issues, not the earlier ones, into this, which I now have. Wow. Fantastic. Oh, look at that Kubert artwork. Just incredible. Just amazing. Tor takes it on the face. He takes it on the body. He's beaten up severely. He's different from Conan in that regard, but I've always thought he had the same kind of elemental appeal. When you want a shirtless barbarian type, you want a couple of things to work. You want a really good gimmick. In this case, it's not a fantasy land. It's 1,000,000 years ago on Earth. Whereas Conan, I think, is probably supposed to be considerably earlier than that. It's still on Earth. The kind of the unspoken gimmick in Conan is that all of these weird creatures that he encounters simply didn't fossilize. But he is on Earth of some kind or other. But there's sorcery and whatnot. There's no sorcery in Tor. Unless it's in these issues. I don't think I read these issues. Wow, all right. So a hardcover graphic novel in perfect condition. Great. Okay. A little bit redeemed here. Let's pick another one here. I've got another mass market paperback. Oh my god. Okay. This is from the 1980s, is that right? 1986. Yes, indeed. I remember this. I had a copy of this. This is by Crandall Krauss, and it is called The President's Son. A remarkable resemblance there between the cover model on the cover of this book and the sacrosanct who dropped this bag off, who had not yet been born by a long margin when I read this book. This is old Alley Cat Press, is that right? Alley Cat Books, yes. This is for the gays. Gotta have something for the gays. My friend probably noticed that. Let's see if we have here. You're going to be able to guess what this is. DJ Marshall is the handsome and gay son of a popular president. But as the re-election campaign begins, DJ finds himself cut off from his father by ambitious advisors who are determined that no scandal should threaten their power. Soon, DJ realizes he has no one to trust. No one, that is, except Parker, the beefy Secret Service agent who is taking an unusual interest in DJ's personal life. I read this back. I haven't read it since then. Fantastic. Okay, fantastic. All right. All right, well, this is all over the map then. Oh, all right. Oh, very nice. All right, this is one of these rock-solid Signet classic paperbacks. This is the Walter Cobb translation of The Hunchback of Notre Dame de Paris. Wow, this is perfect condition. It's never been read. Fantastic. Okay, this will go on my classic shelf. Maybe it needs a reread. I haven't reread this book in quite some time. I don't know that I'm really that familiar with the Cobb translation. Fantastic. All right. Very good. I would have grabbed that. Let's see. We've got another mass market paperback here. Okay. All right. Well, this is an old paperback. We've seen this on this channel. I got this, I think, just last year. This is a mass market paperback of Larry Niven's novel Ringworld with this old cover. All of Larry Niven was redone in, I think, the early 90s. And this is the cover before that. This edition came out, I think this might have been the first paperback, 1970. I'm not a big fan of Larry Niven. I object less to Ringworld than a lot of his other books. But I reread that the other copy of, I have an exact copy of this that I hauled on this channel like last year. I reread that then. I don't know that it's up for a reread, another reread. But I understand why my friend would pick it, because it's science fiction. And he knows that I like science fiction. Let's grab another one of these. It's a mass market paperback again. Oh, okay, great. All right, this is a Bantam mass market paperback. This is the translations by Ronald Hingley and Max Hayward. And this is One Day in the Life of Yvonne Denisovich. This is a great novel. It's a great Russian novel that I don't own. I don't have a copy of this. Fantastic. Fantastic. Don't have a trade paperback. Don't even have an ebook of this, I don't think. This is short Solzhenitsyn, as opposed to very, very long Solzhenitsyn. This is short Solzhenitsyn and terrific. It's terrifically good. Okay. We're not doing too bad, though. We've got more to go, though, here. Let's see what this next one is. That big, heavy thing, whatever it is. Oh, okay. All right. Yes. Oh, my God. I read this when it first came out. Was this going to be the 70s? When did you first appear? Oh my God! I'm thinking the 80s maybe. 1981. Okay, this is Milton Rugoff, and this is The Beechers. It's a big, fat biography of the Beecher family. Be known now. The only connection with this family that you'll know now is Harriet Beecher Stowe. But the Beechers had a long history going back a century or more before her, and it's full of popular characters. I read this when it first came out. I read this back in the 80s. I was tempted to review it. I think I was going to review it for... I wasn't going to. I mean, I wasn't commissioned or anything, but I was really tempted at the time to pitch it for... what was the paper? I don't remember. I think it was Des Moines' second paper, which I don't think they have anymore. It was Des Moines Register, I'm pretty sure it still exists. But they had another paper. And I was thinking about pitching this to them, but I would have had to get a copy from them, and I wasn't sure. I didn't do it. But I was thinking about it because I thought this was really important. No one's ever done anything before like this. No one's ever done anything since like this. Boy, they're the Beechers. They're the Beechers right there. And if you are way up on your American history, you will be able to spot Harriet Beecher Stowe on that cover. But otherwise, no. I know very little about the women folk and almost everything there is to know about all of the men folk in that picture, including the two who couldn't make it. Wow, okay. Well, I'm not sure that I would have grabbed this, but I remember really liking it. Well, it's a gigantic multi-generational biography volume, so again, it makes sense that my friend would grab it. And I don't reject it. It's not double or anything. We're not doing too bad. Let's just keep going here. How much more do we have to do? A few more books in here. This was a trade paperback. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Interesting. Okay, this is the Barbara Bray translation of Marguerite Duras' Memoir of the War. In this old trade paperback series that did lots and lots of really good stuff. This is not around anymore. Well, this has seen better days, hasn't it? This Pantheon thing has seen very good. Okay, geez, I don't know. This is Pantheon Modern Writers. I don't know that I've ever read this book. Wow, I like this author. So, okay, fantastic. Very interesting. Well, I wonder what its story is to get from wherever it ended up to the basement of a church in Boston. I'll never know. No one will ever know. What is this next one? Oh, no. Okay. All right. Well, I'm familiar with this book, as everybody is. This is the movie cover of Jan Martel's The Life of Pi. This is kind of what I was expecting this whole bag would be. I was expecting that the whole bag would just be my friend. My friend does his best. He's more literate than most people. But I'm sure you know what it's like when you ask a non-bookish person to pick a book for you. They pick something like Life of Pi. Oh, I've heard of that. Or I saw the movie, or I saw the movie trailer. And I was expecting this whole bag would do this. I didn't think I had any interesting things in it. I don't find Life of Pi all that interesting, but I haven't tried it in quite some time. This is exactly the kind of very popular thing that I was expecting. Keep in mind, there's no emergency, you bleeding hearts out there. There's no emergency. There's just a stoplight, and they don't want to stop. Is that illegal? Yes. Could it get them fired? Yes. Could it get them sued? Yes. Does it matter? No. But keep in mind, those of you who are worried, there is no emergency. But this came out 2001. I'm sure that all of you are familiar with this thing. Boy ends up on a raft with a tiger. This is the movie cover. I read this when it came out, and I read it again when it came out in trade paperback. I guess, my friend was so nice to do all this. Maybe a reread? One of these things has to be on my Friday reads for tonight. One of them does. Something has to be on that list. Let's see what this next one is. Oh, how lovely. Oh, all right. This is a Wordsworth classic. Sometimes they are really pretty. This is a Wordsworth classic of The Secret Garden. How lovely. I haven't reread this thing in forever. It's just a lovely Wordsworth trade paperback. Wow. Okay, well, this could easily be in the running. I should decide in this video, though, shouldn't I? I should do that. I should decide in this video what is going to be the thing I read tonight, or reread tonight. This next one's a trade paperback. Oh, no. Oh, God help us. All right. Well, all right. we got The Life of Pi. There's exactly the sort of one-size-fits-all, oh, I've got a second cousin once removed who likes to read. I'm in a bookstore. I've never been in one before. I need to pick him a book. I have no idea what's good. It is for 10 years you got The Life of Pi, and that person got it whether they wanted it or not. And this is another one of those books. I've already read this. I guess I have a second copy now. This is Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. This is a staple of Dude Bro lit, a staple of the Dude Bro world, and of the manosphere influencers. Joe Rogan has held this book. That's as close as he ever gets to reading, but he's held it in his hand. Every single one of his guests, without any exceptions, has read this book or held it in their hand. They all think it's great. They all consider Harari to be, Einstein if he was cool, the smarter version of Einstein. Harari featured very prominently in a meme that went around Twitter a little while ago about show us a picture of someone that you think is a dumb person's idea of a smart person. He featured very prominently in that meme. He wasn't the top tier, but he was up there. Here we are. So we have Sapiens again. I read this. Maybe now that I have a copy, I should reread it. Okay. This says that it is a brief history of humankind. It's not. There are parts of it that are interesting. Definitely. There are parts of it. I don't think that it's toxic for Dude Bros to read this. It's toxic in the predictable ways. In Yuval Noah Harari's brief history of humankind, there is only one sex. There are no women. in humankind, when you'd only have one generation of humans if that were true, if that were actually true. But you understand, I think he knew exactly the audience that he was going for, and it's made him independently wealthy. It's made him who knows how many millions of dollars from selling this thing, not to readers, but to David Lade, to Chris Williamson, to do all of these dude bro guys out there who are going to consider this to be, what I read in between my monthly rereads of Jordan Peterson. I'm not sure that any of that is explicitly Harari's fault. Maybe I should give it a go. I don't know if it's tonight's reread. I have no idea. Let's just keep going. We're almost at the bottom of this bag. My friend is not doing that bad. What is this next one? Oh, okay. Well, you knew. All right. Well, you knew that This is also a predictable thing. Although this format is rather nice. Some of the things in here are predictable. My friend was hedging his bets quite a bit because he had to know that he was out on a limb. He had to know that I would rib him until the end of time if this was full of things like The Life of Pi. This is Middlemarch. But it's in one of these red vintage classics that you used to see on Doom Antidote's channel. He had a whole bunch of these things until he unceremoniously dumped us all and has left Book 2. Although I'm sure he would say that he hasn't left Book 2. Anyway, whenever I see, on his channel or anybody else's, whenever I see these red-spined vintage classics, I always want some of them. And maybe that's true with Middlemarch as well, but there's no way that I would ever get another copy of Middlemarch. I've read this book so many times. I've taught this book so many times. I have so many editions of it. Although, that having been said, I'm not 100% sure that I would have resisted this. For free? Just toss it in a bag? Strapping pair of arms is going to bring it home for me? I don't even need to worry about lifting it? I'm not sure that I would have resisted this. This is, for those of you who don't have any idea what I'm talking about, this is George Eliot's masterpiece. This is a great, great novel, and I would argue one of the greatest novels ever written in English. Inexhaustible. Just inexhaustible. I know that because I've tried real hard to exhaust it and it doesn't work. Okay, great. Fantastic. All right, another copy of Middlemarch. And then, if I remember correctly, this is the last one. Yeah, there's nothing else in this bag, so we're doing another trade paperback. Oh, okay. Oh, very nice. All right, we actually saw this book on this channel. I think it's one of the only ones that we actually saw on this channel. But we saw it as a hardcover, and I never got the trade paperback. Is this Harper? Who is it who stiffed me and never sent me? Melville House. Oh, that's weird. They're usually pretty good about that. I got the hardcover of this thing, and I liked it. But the hardcover design is boring, and the paperback is very nice. Oh, I could definitely stand to reread this. We saw this on this channel. I don't expect you to watch every 6,000 videos. This is Martin C. or Say, The Mirror Thief. Only this is the trade paperback. The lovely trade paperback. The hardcover didn't look anything like this. And I bet I know why my friend picked this. Let's read about it. In 16th century Venice, that is why my friend picked this. I guarantee you. He flipped it over and saw, it's set in Venice. Anything Venice. Steve will probably be interested in that. The city's famed glassmakers are secretly perfecting one of the old world's most astonishing inventions, the mirror. An object of glittering yet fearful fascination. Was it reflecting simple reality or something more spiritually revealing? Venetian mirrors were state-of-the-art technology desired by sultans and royals worldwide. And so the city's ruthless rulers, the Council of Ten, have handed down an edict. Taking the technology off the island is a crime punishable by death. One man, however, a world-weary war hero with little to lose, has a scheme to outwit the ominous Ten. And then the narrative breaks 2 centuries later. Meanwhile, in 2 other iterations of Venice Beach, California in 1958, and the Venetian Casino of Los Angeles in 2003, 2 elderly schemers launched similarly dangerous plans to discover and get away with secrets. I bet you're going to be able to guess what my initial reaction to this book was. This was back in 2019? Is that when this was? 2016. My initial reaction to this was that the later sections of the book don't work anywhere near as well as the historical section in actual Venice. 2016, though, now I'm starting to wonder if maybe we didn't see this on this channel. I would have been getting the hardcover right around the time when I was starting this channel. Maybe we never saw it. It's a good pick. It's a good pick. I don't know if this is the one, though. I have to decide what I want. The cheap cop-out would be to say Tor. the graphic novel. I'm going to read that today anyway. But I should pick something else. I should pick something off this pile that I am going to reread or read tonight. Tonight is rather full, especially if there's a chance that tonight and every night for the foreseeable future is going to be whompingly full of Chinese thought. I don't know what I want to pick here. Tor, definitely. Tor, I'm certainly reading tonight. Maybe this? Maybe a reread of Life of Pi? I should decide now, though. All right, well, I'll punt, and my decision might change. I'm going to read tonight. I'm going to read Tor, which I don't think I've ever read these modern issues. I've read the older Tor. They were reprinted in comic books in the 70s. But I don't think I've ever read this new series. And I'm going to reread The President's Son. I might as well. This was interesting. Okay, so this is sort of a DoorDash book haul where it came to me. I wonder if we can do a Steve Pyramid. Think we can? Think we can do a Steve Pyramid to wrap this out? We've got Tor, the graphic novel. That's easy. We've got Death of a President by William Manchester, his contentious book about Kennedy. We've got A Moment's Liberty, the shorter diary of Virginia Woolf. We've got The Beechers, a big multi-generational biography of the whole family. We've got The War by Marguerite Duras. We've got Sapiens, another trade paperback copy of Sapiens. We've got the vintage red spine Middlemarch. Let's see here. We've got The Mirror Thief in the trade paperback that I never actually got from the publisher. So that's interesting right there. We've got The Secret Garden in a lovely Wordsworth paperback. We've got The Life of Pi. One Day in the Life of Yvonne Denisovich in a paperback that I've had many times, so I don't have it at the moment. A double of this copy of this old paperback of Ringworld. A rock-solid copy of The Hunchback of Notre Dame. A Louis L'Amour, Too Late for June on the Range, the first fast draw. Sons and Lovers by D.H. Lawrence. If I were being really adventurous, really grateful, probably that would be the one that I would reread tonight. And finally, The President's Son by Crandall Krauss. So, to round out this book haul, I don't know what this is. Very, very grateful. If my friend never watches my videos, and neither does his assistant, I don't think. I'm very, very grateful. I'll make it up to them when I can get over there. And somehow I'll make it up to them. But anyway, that is your Friday reads for today. I'm going to add a couple of these books to my Friday reads pile tonight. So I'm going to wrap this up for now, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.